Welcome back to my channel. Since I'm getting back into making these videos, I thought I would do one on Wolfram Alpha because I haven't done this. This is one I wanted to do a while ago. So, if you haven't seen this before, there are some things I can show, like you can do some basic math. I don't know, like some number plus some number, and it will show the answer. It will show, like, there's a number line, there's the number written out. It has related queries. You can do something like, I don't know, lowest common denominator of, you put in 12, and it'll tell you how it interprets your input, what the result is. I don't know what prime factorization is, and also related queries. So you can do things besides math. So one thing, total area Missouri versus Germany. I think Germany's roughly double the size of Missouri, so square miles 70 and just under 140. So I thought that was interesting. You can what's some other things? Walmart versus Target. This does stock prices. So it shows the ticker symbol, it shows the last price, it shows a bunch of data, it shows some returns, there's price history table, there's projections, company logos, and then here's the Wikipedia summaries. So it has a lot of different information. You can do something like potassium of oranges. And so it'll tell you how much there is. It'll tell you there's unit conversions, there's stuff about daily intake amounts, there's something about common foods, there's other nutrition things. So it does a lot in here. If you scroll to the bottom, it says Wolfram language. So this is what I was interested in. Here's a whole bunch of information. There's some stuff you can start. They have a notebook in the cloud, I guess. But I've been going to open courses and training, which is Wolfram U. And from here, I can get an elementary introduction to the Wolfram language. Go to free course. And so they'll have a video on here. There's a whole bunch of chapters and a progress towards the certification. I don't actually know what this gets you, but it starts off with, so think if you do Shift Enter, so if I were to change this to 8, and then I hit Shift Enter, then it tells me the output. How do I get to, so starting out, it's a bunch of information. Okay, that's questions and answers. Okay, exercises. So, I guess this is where I would enter code. 1 plus 2 plus 3. Oh, and then I check my solution. Correct. Okay. So alright. 1, 2, 4, 5. Nope. Don't hit enter, so you hit shift enter. Does that work? Also, no, it doesn't. All right. Output 15, correct. Multiply 5, 4, 2, and I mean 1 just keeps it the same, so doesn't really matter. Correct? 5 squared. So if I do that, check my solution. Okay, I'm not this much into math. Let's say introducing functions. Okay, so you can do plus 3, 3. You hit that, and then you do shift enter. 3 and 4 is 7. So you can do multiple numbers, you can do times and alright, so if I do times 2, comma, so I guess this is like a function within a function. 2, 3. And then you have to close that. It's not parentheses, so that's a little bit different than I'm used to. So it'd be 5 times 2. Alright. All functions in the Wolfram language use square brackets and have names that start with capital letters. Max finds the maximum number. Random integer. Oh look, random integer. Picks a random whole number between 0 and whatever entered. So, random integer 50, shift enter. Nope, it's a T. R, and then shift enter. 7, okay. I keep doing that. 40. Yeah. Okay, so here's the ones we learned. Plus, subtract, times, divide, power, max, min, random integer. Alright, let's say exercises. There's plus, there's times and plus, there's max and times, random integer. Use plus and random integer to generate a random number between 10 and 20. So, okay, one thing that I can think of how I would do this, if I did random integer. Oh, random choice. I like that they have that there. And then you put 10. So that's between 0 and 10. And then I say plus open square bracket, comma, alright, random integer, comma, and then you add 10. If I do shift enter, it gives me 10. Shift enter 12, 16, 20, 11. If I this in here, will it say it's correct? Correct. Alright. Compute that using times, using subtract, using times and plus, subtract and divide, subtract and power, power, max and power, multiply 3 and the max of these two powers, add two random numbers each between 0 and 1,000. So that would be random integer 1,000 and random integer in bracket 2 zeros, and then you do shift enter. Nope, I forgot another bracket on the end. Shift enter. Shift enter. Okay, 313. Here, since I got this, let me copy and paste it here. Check my solution. Correct? Alright, let's say first look at lists. Lists are a basic way to collect things together in the Wolfram language. So we're using curly braces. 1, 2, 3 is a list of numbers. On their own, lists don't do anything. They're just a way to store things, so it's an array. If you give a list an input as input, it'll just come back unchanged. List plot is a function that makes a plot of a list of numbers. Alright, that's interesting. So then they plot different numbers, okay. Range is a function that makes a list of numbers. Range generates numbers, I guess, 0 to what you tell it. And so then they did a list plot of range 20. Just makes a line, diagonal line. They have a function called reverse. And then they can reverse a range. And they plot the reversed range. Join will join lists together. There you're joining two ranges. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and then they're plotting these. That's interesting. And then list plot of join. And then they're reversing it. So they have a range of 20. What does join do? Oh, they're joining a range and the reverse range. And then they're plotting that join. So there's a range, reverse range, and I'm guessing there's another thing that they're joining there. Alright, so this is interesting. So they go displaying lists, operations on lists, making tables. Now, oh look, they can do pie charts. Table of pie chart. Do table of, okay, let's try pie chart. And then what if we did range 10? I don't know. And then comma 3. Oh, it's 3 pie charts of exactly the same thing. Shift enter. Nope. Table. Okay, that's fine. Shift enter. Nope, I don't know what that is. Another one of that. Okay, what if... Oh, is it... Yeah, try that. Okay, so here's my 3 pie charts. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each piece of the pie chart gets bigger. 1, 1. Okay, I think this is a bit interesting. Okay, so this has to do with colors and styles. You have red will show you color red. Here's a list of colors, which returns a list of the colors. You can negate a color, so the negative of yellow is blue. You can blend colors. You can specify the red, green, and blue values of colors. And then here's a table of colors. You can hue. You can use random colors. That's interesting. There's a table of a random color. I don't understand what this number 20 is of the table. That's something I still haven't learned. Okay, and then here it gets into styles. I skipped over to chapter 16. This is real world data. A central feature of the Wolfram language is that it's got immense amounts of real world data built in. It's got data on countries and animals and movies and lots more. It gets all this from the Wolfram knowledge base, which is being updated all the time, and is what powers Wolfram Alpha and services based on it. But how can you talk about a country in the Wolfram language? The easiest way is just to use plain English. You can tell the Wolfram language you're going to be giving it plain English by pressing Control equals. Hold down Control and press equals key. Or on a touch device by pressing the button that looks like this, whatever that is. Enter plain English, United States. Alright, so here. What was it? Control equals. Oh, okay, and then I get that little box, and then I type United. Oh, I'm not typing in the box? No. United States. As soon as you press or click away. Oh, there, that's how I type in there, right? United States. Alright. The Wolfram language will try to interpret what you typed. Assuming it succeeds, it'll display a little yellow box represents a Wolfram language entity. In this case, it's the entity corresponding to the United States. Press the check mark to confirm it's what you want. Oh, okay. I clicked it. Now you can ask lots of for lots of properties of this entity, like you could ask for the US flag. Okay, so now we have this as like a function. It says property. It's an entity. So we have this entity, and then we type flag in quotes and square brackets. We press Shift Enter. Then it'll output the flag. The result you get is something you can go on doing computation with, like in this case of image processing. So if I go to the beginning of the line and I type color negate, and then I do my open square bracket, my close square bracket at the end, and I do shift enter. Oh look, it did. If all you want to do is get the US flag, you can just ask for it in English. Oh. Entity value is a more flexible way to ask for the values of properties. Entity value. Use entity value to get the US flag. So I did color negate, and then I do entity value. Open my square bracket. And then here I put a comma, get rid of one square bracket and do control enter or shift enter. Oh no, I did need two of those. Okay, shift enter. Alright, same thing. Entity value also works with a list of entities. Alright, so they typed 3 countries, and then they still left flag in there. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. The Wolfram language has deep knowledge about countries as about many other things. Find out how many radio stations there are in the list of countries. Well, so let's take away color negate. And instead of typing flag in here, let's type radio stations. Shift enter. 13,769. How many radio stations in the United States? 13,769. First, I guess that means the most in the world. Shortwave radio, FM, AM, and radio receivers. Find countries that border Switzerland. Oh, look. So if I do control equals. Okay. SWITZERLE. Oh, and then click out of there. Check mark for country. And then we say bordering countries. Oh, shift enter. Austria, France. Oh, and then that's where they changed it to put a flag at the end. So instead of having this comma here, put an opening bracket. Close bracket. Yeah. Okay, close the bracket, and then you do comma. Oh, that's not a comma. Oh, because I couldn't see. All right. All right, and then you do flag, and then do Shift Enter. Oh, it's an extra thing there. Shift Enter. Okay, so there's 5 flags. Yep, 5 flags. Sometimes you'll want to talk about a class of entities, like, say, planets. Classes of entities are indicated by this 9 squares. You can get a list of all entities in a class using Entity List. Okay, so Entity List of planets, and here's the, I guess, planets in our solar system. You can then get images of the planets by typing image. Wait a second. What happens if I type image here? Shift Enter. Shift Enter. Oh, okay, it doesn't know country image. Entity value can actually handle entity classes directly, so you don't need to use entity list with it. Oh, look, they could do a bar chart of the radius of each planet. It's very convenient to use plain English to describe things, but a downside is that it can be ambiguous. If you say Mercury, do you mean the planet Mercury or the chemical element Mercury or something else called Mercury? When you use Control equals, it'll always make an initial choice, but if you press the 3 dots, you can change to another choice. Press the check mark to accept a choice. Alright, so if I were to do Control equals, in there I type ERCURY, and then click out of it. It's the element. I can refer to a planet, or I can refer to a manned space mission. Oh, a division of automobile manufacturer. Oh, it doesn't know that. Okay, how about the manned space mission? Alright, check mark. What if I just press Shift Enter now? Oh, it just tells me that, okay. To see how the Wolfram language internally represents entities, you can use Input Form. Show the internal form of the entity that represents the United States. Show the internal form for New York City. Entity, City, New York, United States. There are millions of entities in the Wolfram language, each with a definite internal form. In principle, you could enter in any entity using its internal form, but unless you're using the same entity over and over again, it's much more practical just to use Control equals and enter a name for the entity in plain English. There are thousands of different types of entities in the Wolfram language covering all sorts of areas of knowledge. To find out about them, check out the Wolfram language documentation or the Wolfram Alpha examples page. Each type of entity then has a list of property, often hundreds of them. One way to find this list is to use entity properties. Okay, so I would type that at the beginning. I type entity properties, open square bracket, and if I do close square bracket, shift enter. Okay, so for a manned space mission, we can see alternate names, call sign, command and service module call sign, operator countries, crew, description, disciplines, distance traveled, Earth landing date, entity classes, funding agencies, image. Oh, you can find an image. NORAD number, moonwalk date, primary crew, position. Okay, this is interesting. In practice, though, a good approach is to ask in plain English for a property of some entity, then to look at the interpretation that's found and reuse the property from it. As for the height of the Eiffel Tower, so you can just type height of the Eiffel Tower, and it will try to find here's the building and the height, and then it will give you the answer. Reuse the height property applied to the Great Pyramid. Great Pyramid of Giza building, height. Different types of entities have different properties. One common property for many types of entities is image, except for countries. Countries do not have images. Get images of various entities. Voila, Eiffel Tower, Starry Night, Stephen Wolfram. Other types of objects have other properties. Plot of a caffeine molecule plot. Rotatable 3D graphics of a skull, graphics 3D. A net that folds up into our 3D company logo. I don't see the logo, so I don't know what it looks like. Net image. Rhombic hexacantahedron. And then there's some vocabulary and some questions and answers. Oh, so this is their company logo. And that is the net that we saw. Okay, so there's a lot here. While I'm in here, if I do random choice, open that. About if I type yes, no, and then do shift enter. The items for choice yes should be a non-empty list or a rule weights choices. Okay. Well, anyway. Okay, I think this was really interesting. I don't see how I would ever use it, but I see how it could be really interesting in some type of project. And find the flag of Switzerland. Get an image of an elephant. Use the mass property to generate a list of the masses of the planets. Make a bar chart of the masses of the planets. Make an image collage of images of the planets. Edge detect the flag of China. Find the height of the Empire State Building. Now some of these, like they do images in chapter 10, coordinates and graphics in 14. So there are things that some of this probably skipped over. Find the height of the Empire State Building. Compute the height of the Empire State Building divided by the height of the Great Pyramid. Find the dominant colors in the painting The Starry Night. I think this could be pretty powerful language, but thank you for watching, and thank you to anybody who has subscribed or liked any videos. Have fun on your projects. Let me know if there's anything that you think I should make a video on, and see you later.